I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Went to Columbus South High School. After I graduated high school, I went to CCAD, took up ad design and illustration, but somehow I ended up doing fabric artwork. So that's a totally different story. It started with just growing up in the hip hop era. We used to love to just create, and we would go to Schottenstein's and we would buy these partly torn jean jackets, and then we would even tear them up even some more, and then what I would do would paint on either like denim, sometimes even just canvas, and we would get a seamstress and she would sew in some of the seams into the jacket. So that kind of really got me into studying fabric. After a while, I would start going to the fabric stores and just start buying fabric and just creating clothes just freehand. Just didn't know anything about patterns. I was just basically just being basically my creative self. Well, the technique, I guess it's a collage style. So it's a process of where I'm taking something and I'm just putting layers on top of layers. Obviously, I'll start from the background and move it up to the foreground. When I initially started working, they were more or less like two-tone pieces. And what I would go into art galleries and I would look at my work, compare it to other paintings, and I said, okay, I gotta do better. I gotta step what I'm doing. I was like, I want to take this to the level of where it looks like a painting. So there was a lot of trial and errors and a lot of experimenting. In the beginning, my pieces were really bulky because I would use the more heavier fabrics. When I learned a technique for cutting the thinner fabrics, it was like almost like game over for me, because at that point I was able to put shadows and highlights and bring more different elements into my artwork without it looking bulky. And that was the key. And that's why today people look at it and they can say, this looks like a painting, but until you walk up on it and it's like, no, this is all fabric. Oh, number one, leather and suede. Number two would be denim, and everything else after that. I think that when I work with leather and suede, it just really translates really well with my pieces, and I just love the texture of it, and I think that it really comes out. Denim is another totally different look. I really like that as well. I love blending the different types of denim together as the same way with the leather and suede. My only tool is use the X-acto knife, but the technique is just learning how to cut those thin fabrics with accuracy. There are a lot of little different techniques that I use. I don't want to just kind of like disclose them all. I'll go and I'll say one technique I'll use. If you got a real thin fabric, there's a certain glue that you can use, you can apply to the back of the fabric, which at that point kind of gives it a more of a solid feel, and it's easier to cut. Typically, I would say about 95% of what I do is basically comes from out of my head. I typically really don't use references a lot. It's just things that I just think about. I just love to create. So when I'm creating a piece, I really get into it. So if I'm creating, let's say, a city scene, and I'm creating buildings, I'm not just an artist, I'm an architect. If I'm doing a portrait and I'm creating a person, I'm designing their outfit, designing their look. So yeah, well, that's the thing. When I do a piece, I am all in. I think the funnest part is when you're right in the middle, and when you can see that vision come together. Because initially, when you're creating a piece, you're like, oh, is this going to work? And then as you're working, you're like, oh, I'm starting to see it now. It's coming together. On the flip side, the worst part, I think, is coming towards the end, trying to finish that piece, because at that point you're ready to move on to the next piece, and that's when you really have to be careful, because I'm like, no, stop, take your time, make sure you complete this correctly. One of the reasons why I use the bird, it represents freedom. And when I first started doing artwork, I kind of felt like that actor that gets typecast. People were expecting me to do a certain type of artwork. And one of the reasons why I adapted that bird, because that bird allows me to do anything I want to do. You know, if I want to do an abstract piece, it's going to be, I'll do that tomorrow. Portraits, landscapes, anything, sports pieces. I do it all. If I feel it, I'm going to do it. Art is my therapy. I really hope that for the viewer, that it affects them the way that it affects me. So a lot of times, if I'm dealing with something, I go into my studio. The art that's my release, and I'm able to just basically deal with stress in that way. So I want that to be conveyed with my artwork, also with the viewer. So that's one of the things I wanted to also accomplish with some of my new pieces as well. So I really hope that resonates with the viewer.